There's something strange about the human nature. When you are struggling, nobody investigates your pain. Nobody asks where your depression came from. Nobody studies the source of your suffering. Nobody organizes a meeting to discuss your failures. But the moment you become successful, everybody suddenly becomes a detective. Where did the money come from? How did he rise so fast? What is she really doing behind the scenes? Something must be suspicious. And that tells you something important about the world. People are often more uncomfortable with your success than with your suffering. Welcome to today's episode, The Enemy Advantage. Let me begin with a hard truth. If nobody considers you an enemy, you may not yet be relevant. Because relevance creates reaction, and success attracts attention. Nobody envies obscurity. Nobody attacks invisibility. Nobody studies people they consider unimportant. But once your life begins to rise above average, everything changes. The energy changes, the conversations change, the attitudes change, and suddenly, people who never supported you begin watching you closely. Not because they care, but because your growth disturbs something inside them. Success exposes human psychology in ways failure never does. When you are broke, people give advice casually. When you are struggling, they barely notice your existence. But when you become wealthy, influential, respected, people begin asking questions they never asked before. And often, those questions are not driven by curiosity. They are driven by comparison, because your success forces people to confront their own lives. I might need to say that again. Your success forces the people around you to confront their own lives. Your discipline reminds them of their excuses. Your courage reminds them of their fear. Your consistency reminds them of the dreams they abandoned. And instead of processing that pain internally, some people project it outward. That projection becomes criticism, suspicion, jealousy, resentment, sometimes even hatred. The fascinating thing is, many enemies are created the moment you stop being accessible. Not physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, spiritually. The moment you begin operating differently, people who are comfortable with the old version of you become uncomfortable. Because growth changes relationships, and not everybody benefits from your evolution. Some people only liked you when you were easier to control, easier to advise, easier to pity. But success changes the power dynamic, and people react strongly when power dynamics shift. Here's something most people learn too late. Progress attracts observation. The higher you rise, the more visible you become. And visibility comes with scrutiny. Nobody questions the man crawling, but everybody notices the man flying. That's why successful people often experience a strange loneliness, because they realize support is sometimes conditional. People clap for your dreams until your dreams begin outperforming theirs. Then, admiration quietly transforms into discomfort, and discomfort sometimes evolves into hostility. But this is where the conversation becomes powerful, because enemies are not always disadvantages. Sometimes they are confirmation. Confirmation that your actions matter. Confirmation that your presence is felt. Confirmation that your life is producing impact. Think about it carefully. People do not spend time attacking things they consider powerless. They attack influence. They attack momentum. They attack movement. That's why criticism increases when success increases. Not because you became worse, but because your visibility became larger.
Now, let's be clear. Not every critic is jealous. Not every disagreement is envy. Sometimes criticism is valid. Sometimes opposition can help refine you. And wise people learn to separate emotional hatred from useful feedback, because enemies can accidentally become teachers. A competitor can expose your weaknesses. A critic can sharpen your communication. Resistance can strengthen your discipline. Pressure creates adaptation. Without resistance, many people never evolve. That's the enemy advantage. Some of the strongest people in history were forged through opposition. Athletes become legendary through rivalries. Businesses innovate through competition. Leaders become resilient through adversity. Even psychologically, humans often discover their highest capacity under pressure. Comfort rarely creates greatness. Conflict does. Not meaningless drama, but resistance. Resistance forces focus. And let's talk about another uncomfortable reality. People are often suspicious of successful individuals because success is rare. The average mind struggles to process extraordinary outcomes. So instead of studying the discipline behind success, many people create conspiracy theories around it. When you were struggling, nobody asked where your stress came from. Nobody asked how many sleepless nights you endured. Nobody asked how many sacrifices you made. Nobody cared about the years of rejection. But once the rewards become visible, everyone suddenly wants an explanation. And often, they want an explanation that minimizes your effort. Because accepting your discipline would force them to examine their own lack of discipline. That's psychologically uncomfortable. So suspicion becomes easier than self-reflection. One of the most dangerous mistakes successful people make is becoming emotionally addicted to defending themselves, trying to explain every rumor, correct every misunderstanding, respond to every attack. And slowly, their enemies begin controlling their emotional state. Never give critics that level of authority. Your mission is bigger than public opinion. Not everybody deserves access to your energy. There's a phrase I once heard that stayed with me. Small minds discuss people. Great minds discuss ideas. And many enemies are simply people consumed by comparison instead of creation. While you are building, they are analyzing you. While you are improving, they are questioning you. While you are focused on purpose, they are focused on your lifestyle. Do not become distracted by spectators. Most spectators never enter the arena themselves. But perhaps the most mature realization is this: you do not need to hate your enemies. In fact, emotional hatred usually weakens clarity. The goal is not revenge. The goal is mastery. Mastery of focus. Mastery of discipline. Mastery of emotional control. Because the greatest victory is not humiliating your enemies. It is refusing to become like them. And honestly, sometimes your enemies reveal your progress before your friends do. Your friends may slowly adjust to your growth, but enemies react immediately. They notice the momentum. They notice the improvement. They notice the influence. That reaction itself becomes information. The presence of opposition often means your life is no longer invisible. So if you are listening right now and you've recently experienced criticism, envy, suspicion, or unexpected negativity, do not panic immediately. Examine the context carefully. You may not be under attack because you are failing. You may be facing resistance because your life is changing levels. And every higher level creates different reactions. The world rarely studies struggling people, but success attracts microscopes. That is part of the price of visibility. At the end of the day, success will reveal people. Some will celebrate you genuinely. Some will compete with you silently. Some will resent you secretly. And that is simply part of human nature. But never allow envy to make you smaller. Never apologize for growth. Never shrink your ambition to protect fragile egos. Build anyway. Grow anyway. Improve anyway. Because if nobody considers you an enemy, you may still be living beneath your potential. Success attracts envy. Progress attracts hate. And sometimes, your enemies are merely witnesses to your evolution. This has been The Enemy Advantage. Thanks for listening. And remember, stay focused on the mission, not the noise. I'll see you in the next episode. Please like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our content.